Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I ordered the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Score a 2 for $5 deal on a sausage McMuffin with egg and more. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Frequency Podcast Network. Stories that matter, podcasts that resonate.
Who exactly gets the shortest end of the stick during a trade war? Is it those who've spent their entire livelihoods being loyal to a certain job sector that now seems to be cutting opportunities left and right due to tariffs? Or is it those who are eager and excited to dive headfirst into the workforce but are yet to even get their foot in the door due to bottom line uncertainty? The reality is, everyone suffers. But with an aging labor force, especially in the auto sector, recent graduates now more than ever need the opportunity to be hired and not fear to be sent packing after barely making it out of the probation period. I'm Maria Kestane, and today on The Big Story, I'm talking to Emily Durham, career coach and host of the Straight Shooter Recruiter podcast on how to keep getting paid in a time when it seems like there's no way up. Thanks for joining us, Emily.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Absolutely. So let's just get right into it. Whether you're in the workforce or not, these on-again, off-again tariffs from U.S. President Donald Trump, throws a lot of anxiety and what-ifs into the air. But especially for those who are looking to enter the workforce, such as young people or recent graduates, what do you think are the specific vulnerabilities for those folks during a time like this?
I cannot underscore enough that there are so many young people right now, emphasis on those new grads who are feeling this anxiety. So I think the first thing we need to say right off the bat, this is not just you. There is nothing wrong with you as a candidate. This is 100% a reflection of the market. And the specifics of what we're seeing, firstly, yes, you're seeing a lot of economic turmoil. You're seeing a lot of companies pausing on hiring. So big risk number one, you've got companies who historically may have been going into peak hiring seasons right now, just knowing this is when you're getting that fresh, gritty talent graduating. They're actually waiting to see what's financially going to happen with their bottom line. There aren't budgets, so they're pausing before they're actually posting roles. Then you've got this second category of risk, which are companies don't want to say they're pausing on hiring. It's not a good look. So instead, what they're doing is they're putting up these fake black hole job postings. So these are job postings that have been up for like 12, 18 months. Suddenly there's no activity on these. And candidates, especially young folks, are applying for this and going, now what's wrong with me? Nobody's calling me back. Yeah, no, these are fake job postings that companies are using to buy themselves time as they're waiting to see how things shake out. But I also think a third and really interesting factor in this messy, disgusting job market we're seeing is the impact of AI. So you've got this massive AI revolution happening. Everyone's talking about it. I know we're probably all sick of hearing about it. What I will say from a careers perspective is we're just at the tip of the iceberg here. So we're only now just starting to see jobs shift, some jobs being eliminated, but we haven't reaped the rewards of AI yet where there are new jobs being created. So my big three risks right now is the job market is shifting from an AI perspective without the job creation piece there just yet. You've got companies holding their budgets, and you've got companies straight up faking it to buy themselves time. So all three of those are very messy.
I mean, is that even legal? Like creating job postings that never really will go anywhere? That's so frustrating. And I've been in that position where I'm applying to a role that's been, uploaded for like 3 months. And it's like, okay, well, now what? Is that even allowed, or what's the loophole?
It's tricky. From a legal perspective, and I preface everything by saying I'm not a lawyer. Otherwise I'd have very proud parents. But really it's not technically illegal because it's also very difficult to prove. There's no way to prove definitively that a company is or isn't reviewing those candidates for other jobs. A lot of people call those pipeline roles, so they're collecting candidates for future positions. It's really easy to explain that away. But in this market specifically, especially in roles that are high volume, like I think of sales and marketing, I'm seeing a very significant uptick in these fake or placeholder job postings so that companies are, being perceived as a bit more economically fruitful than perhaps they actually are.
Yeah. Now, as a former recruiter yourself, what do you say to those young people or recent grads that are looking to enter the workforce but are discouraged from what's happening on the global scale?
Oh, so much. How much time do we have? Firstly, I want to underscore this again. This is not you. There is nothing wrong with you as a candidate. You didn't pick the wrong industry. You have not made a series of bad decisions for the last 20 years that has landed you here. You have the unfortunate string of luck of a COVID education couple of years now coming into this job market. This is not your fault. A couple of things I want to focus on. It's hard. It's not impossible. And to be honest, the job market's been bad for the last 4 years. So anyone telling you this is unprecedented times, things have never been like this. Yeah, they have. Y'all didn't pay attention last year. It's the same, but different. Like it's bad. So what do you actually need to do? First of all, stop listening to old school career advice. Having a perfect resume doesn't matter. There is no such thing as a perfect resume. The reality is your resume is not getting opened. That's why you're not getting callbacks. It's not about your perfect resume, which leads me to tip 2. Take all of that time you would have put into customizing that resume, customizing that cover letter. Now you need to go turbo speed on networking. I'm talking call up your cousin's ex-boyfriend who lived up the street, see if they know anyone who works at Google because you're applying for a job there. Over-index on networking. The third thing I need you to do is recognize job search burnout is real. You need to treat your job hunt like a scheduled job. Like literally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you apply for jobs. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you are networking. You take a break on the weekends. Treat it in that cyclical kind of shift schedule to create routine, but also create space because it is emotionally exhausting. And my biggest fourth piece of advice is every single time you apply for a job, I want you reaching out to people, flagging your application. So greet people on LinkedIn, reach out, say, hey, I applied for this job. Sure, maybe only one person responds. All it takes is one. So like if I'm looking at 4 big tips, those are my big tips I'm taking away.
Right. And so let's say, for example, you do get the job. Great, amazing, God bless.
Love.
But now let's introduce the term last hired, first fired, which refers to those in the workforce who were recently hired, putting them in the position to be first in line to be fired if a company is looking to restructure or if it's met with a new financial strain. What are your tips then for people who were last hired and don't want to be first in line to be first fired?
It's a very good question. And it's something that's really complex because when we think about, and you see this going viral online all the time. I just saw a video the other day of this woman who started a job. On her second day of the job, she gets called into a meeting with HR and they go, we had a feeling we were going to eliminate your job, but now we know for sure. Thanks and goodbye. And she's like, girl, I didn't even get my laptop. This is crazy. So here's what I would say. Like, there are 2 main reasons a company is going to follow this kind of restructuring mandate. Firstly is the business needs are changing. That's actually not bad news for you, especially if you're a new hire. If it's a business need changing, which is what we're going to see more of in the next 12 months, many folks are predicting because of the AI revolution, that probably means jobs that used to be historically very administrative heavy, very scheduling, very routine heavy are going to be replaced by AI. When jobs are getting eliminated because of that, typically the most recent hires aren't actually the ones out because your job has already been evaluated against this new business structure. So there is kind of safety there. I don't want it to be an automatic freak out. But the reality is, let's say there's just business cuts. We look at tariffs, things are expensive, we need to claw back. Typically, it is the first in, last out. So what you need to do is firstly, position yourself as an expert fast. I live by something called the 10% rule. I'm a firm believer. This is why people really accelerate in their careers when they live by this. The first 2 to 3 weeks of your job, focus on being a sponge, absorb. And then find the person who is exceptional. Find the person people look up to and start paying attention to what they do. What's the language they use? How many times a week are they following up on project A or project B? So get really good at the basics by modeling someone you should be looking up to. But where the 10% rule comes in is say, okay, this company is great at ABCD. I'm hired as a financial analyst. But we've got a real gap in terms of presentation skills. And I'm pretty good at presentations. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put together a presentation template. And my next one-on-one with my boss, I'm going to say, hey, big guy, I've put this together. What do you think? How does this resonate? Can I share this with the team? Suddenly, 10% of your job isn't your job. It's something you've made up, something you're naturally good at. It's a lot harder to fire someone who's giving you a little bit and then some. So find ways to add value beyond the scope of your job description, network intentionally, very quickly, and be likable. It's really hard to fire someone people like. So get your name out there quickly, show you are bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, be good at your job, and be good at 10% more.
Let me ask you this, and this is a hard one. How do you be likable in the workforce when you're A, new, and B, you don't want to come off as like cheesy or like, up someone's butt. Because it's
Yeah.
true. You know what I mean? I feel like people can definitely sense out when someone's not being genuine. So how do you be genuine and be good?
Yes. So likability, interestingly enough, is actually one of the most critical components when it comes to hiring, promotions, and opportunity-based decisions. Because people ask themselves, is this person qualified? Probably. Can I tolerate working with them? Well, that's a pretty big factor on whether or not people are moving forward with you. Likability doesn't exist without authenticity. So you can't be likable until you know the brand you want to show up as. And it needs to be your ideal self, not some like phony, drawn up, I want to be this person. I'm never going to be the stern, serious, calm, cool, collected individual. I'm going to be the bubbly person who creates community and drives big ideas. That's my purpose. That's my function. So I really focus on my personal brand and showing up as that ideal version of myself. Focus on authenticity. That's what matters. But there are little hacks you can do to be likable that doesn't really involve a whole bunch of self-reflection. Start most conversations with a question. People are more likely to like you when they think they're doing a favor for you. Hey, Susan, where'd you get that lunchbox? I can't find anything that fits my Tupperware. Bob, I noticed you were really quick on that spreadsheet. What was that formula you used? These silly little questions build connection. It's also really important that you remember little things, both about what people are teaching you, but what they tell you about themselves. So Susan's telling you about her 2 kids. They go to soccer practice. At the beginning of your next meeting with Susan, how was soccer? Like, are we having any Beckhams in the family or no luck? Have a kind of cheeky opener. And I know it's a little creepy. I don't care. I keep a list of things people tell me for the first couple of weeks. Like Susan's got 2 kids, Bob's, taking up guitar, so-and-so's trying factor meals. Let's see if they like them. Like I'm keeping a list. So I have small talk conversations that make people feel seen. Because likability is, yes, about authenticity, but it's also more about how people feel when they're around you, not necessarily how you're presenting yourself to others.
Right. So you're likable, you're authentic, you're yourself, you show up, you bring the 10% extra, and you still get canned, okay? And it happens. It does happen. What are you telling people who have recently been fired, who, whether they've gone above and beyond to not be or whether they had just been fired? What are you telling them to, who are looking to get back on their feet as soon as possible?
Yes. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world. And if someone's got a budget cut, baby, that peach is on the floor. Okay. So you can be doing all the right things. You can't internalize this. You cannot safeguard against business decisions, which is why you need to be loyal to yourself first and your company, not even second. Frankly, shouldn't even be top 10. If you've recently been impacted by a layoff, take a little bit of time to grieve. Maybe that's a couple days, maybe that's longer. You're allowed to feel like there is a loss here. That is allowed. So give yourself the space to feel, remove that guilt, remove that internalization. It has nothing to do with you. Trust me, it has nothing to do with you. The first thing you're going to do is I need you to network. And I know you're probably like, Emily, I don't want to. Okay. It kind of is what it is, my friends. This is the way that you get ahead. So start off by reaching out to people you previously worked with at this company, folks who you have a good relationship with. Ask, do you have anyone in your network you'd recommend I connect with for similar opportunities? They're going to want to help you. It's a good time to go back to your professors, go back to your ex-coworkers, ask for those connections, ask for those referrals. But another, trick I don't see people talking about enough is as you restart this job search process, as you're leaning into networking, how can you monetize your previous experience in a way that helps buy you time so it feels less high pressure? Maybe you go to a website like Upwork, like Fiverr, maybe you're posting online. I think of folks, especially in like the marketing spaces, video editing, all of those things. Why not treat yourself as a consultant small business to continue building your portfolio while you're searching for work so you continue to have that sense of kind of purpose and structure as you go about that next wave of work.
With McValue at McDonald's, you don't just get deals on the drinks. You get deals on McDonald's drinks. So when you're breaking a sweat, embrace the chill without breaking the bank. And when your crew is running on empty, keep your wallet full while refreshing the squad.
Ace the vibe check with drinks like lemonade, frozen Fanta Blue Raspberry, or any size drink for just $1.49. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm seeing a lot online now, maybe it's just the TikTok algorithm that I'm on, that a lot of people online are saying, you should jot down or you should make a running list of every single thing that you've worked on with links to projects so that when you do get fired or when you're looking for a next job, a specific, core list of what you've actually done is available for you to present. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm a big believer in the laundry list of it all. I think even as you stay at companies, it's a great tool for you to leverage to advocate for yourself when it comes to promotions and raises. It's a great buster for things like imposter syndrome. It's kind of hard to feel down on yourself when you've got a whole list of things you're great at. So keeping a list is great. I would definitely say be wary of things like links. There's a lot of proprietary information. You don't want to get yourself in a sticky situation. But I definitely recommend keeping a list of also feedback people have given you. But remember, like as you're having conversations, networking or interview wise, you never want to be just regurgitating, like, here's everything I've done. Please enjoy me. Please like me. You're more so telling a story. So if you've got this list of incredible accolades, pay attention to the stuff that's a common theme. Maybe you are incredible at data and analytics. Maybe you tell great stories with numbers. That's what you need to be communicating. Don't worry about proving yourself with every single bullet point thing you've accomplished. Focus on the themes of what makes you special and bake that into the way you communicate with and about yourself.
I want to go back to how you talked about resumes. And, there's no such thing as a perfect resume, but there is such thing as a diverse resume. And I think, there is the power of like redirection. And obviously being let go is a sad thing, but having different opportunities, like job opportunities under your belt could put you in a better position when you're looking for your next job. I want to ask you, is company loyalty a myth?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I think I truly, like, there will be a day I have a 6.5 hour TED talk regarding the myth of job hopping and company loyalties. Everyone's like, please don't tell us when and where we're not showing up. Here's the thing. The myth of company loyalty is something that many generations have been fed, saying if you stay here and you work here and you are loyal to us, you're going to retire, you're going to be rewarded. And I look at that same generation of people who are still working in these jobs, who are not able to retire. I'm seeing these same people getting laid off, 30 years of work, 30 years of service, getting laid off over a Zoom email. That should be enough data to prove to us these companies don't care. How a lot of companies reacted to the pandemic, yet that should be an indicator these companies don't care. Your boss may operate with loyalty to you. Your boss may operate with empathy. Your boss might be an incredible person. Your boss is not the company. And that's where we need to depersonalize the way you look at work. You cannot be loyal to something that will never be loyal to you. Do y'all not watch reality TV? You wouldn't be staying in a relationship with someone who is pathologically betraying you. And not to say every company is going to treat you horribly, because that's not the case. But the reality is we are all numbers on a piece of paper. That is the truth, no matter how wonderful those people are. And that's where I think job hopping is really interesting. People tend to demonize the idea of hopping from job A to job B, but that's also proven to be the best way to maximize your earnings. So who's really winning here? My big push for people, especially Gen Z, do not feel like you need to be loyal to these employers, because newsflash, as AI continues to evolve, I promise you they're not going to be loyal to you. So your loyalty needs to be to yourself, to your wellness, to your family, to the things that actually matter to you.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned numbers, and I want to get into the numbers. Youth unemployment numbers from Stats Canada for the month of April showed an increase, putting the number at about 15%, which is the highest it's been in the past 2 decades, excluding COVID figures. What do you make of that number, 15%? And do you think it's a number that will continue to grow?
It's a good question. And to be honest, if I told you what I think is going to happen with that number, I'd be lying. There are so many factors at play that I hate to say it is going to be a wait and see. There is some reasoning behind why this is happening. And some things I would say I don't want us to panic on just yet. That number is high. We should be raising an eyebrow at that. But for this time of year, it's not super uncommon for us to see a dip in job creation. You've got the roll-off of some of these seasonal jobs that we saw over the winter. You're not quite at the summer hiring season for some of those temporary summer jobs. So it's not totally uncommon for us to see this dip right now. So I don't want us to pound the alarms. What this is telling us about the job market is the same story that we've been sharing for about 3 years. The first is we are seeing less net new jobs be created. So we've got less positions available. We've got more candidates available, particularly young people and Gen Z. And the third and more concerning part is we've got a fundamental skills mismatch. I know I keep harping on AI, but we've got this entire new industry that's about to blossom in front of us. And very few of us are prepared. We don't know what those jobs are going to look like. So many companies are like, I guess we'll try doing this with AI before we open these roles. Or maybe we should be, coming up with these AI management positions. And there's no one really skilled to do those things. So the why behind it is we've got a fundamental mismatch that is being highlighted or made worse by the economy and some of these AI shifts. I think the 15% does concern me. I do think I would hope, don't hold me to it, y'all. I do think we're going to see that number be a bit more healthy over the next couple of months, especially as we look at those new grad, internship, long-term placement roles we tend to see pick up in the summer. So it's not pounding the alarm worthy yet, but it is another indicator that we are very, very behind on job creation and our population keeps growing, which we should be very concerned about.
Yeah. What I want to know is, do you think employers or companies could be doing anything to incentivize young people or recent grads to apply, even though there's really uncertainty for just about everyone involved here?
I think we have, I love this question. I think there's so much that companies can do. And I think there are some organizations that are going to propel themselves into the future in the next 6 months. We are really going to see the cream rise to the top, or the crop top.
Cream to the top, crop
Cream
to the top.
Girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really think we've got a unique opportunity here. And I think what's exciting about this period of time is you've got a cohort of talent who is exceptionally well-versed in tech. They are very, very connected. They are in tune what's happening from a global scale, politically, economically, in ways we've never seen before. If I'm a top employer, I'm creating a boot camp program that's completely free. It's going to be 3 or 4 weeks long. I'm bringing in a cohort of marketing, finance, whatever it may be, students. I'm upskilling them on the gaps I'm seeing in my company. Maybe you don't have an AI expert. Who do you think is going to be the first to adopt AI in a meaningful way? It's Gen Z. I would be looking at those gaps you're predicting in the next 16 months, taking in that top talent and saying, okay, marketing student who just graduated, let's have a 3-week brainstorming session. How can you think big? How would you innovate? Can you bring me your fresh ideas on how you could streamline the way that we currently work? And you convert those people into full-time offers. I think education-based hiring is such an incredible opportunity that so few employers are looking at. And I think the other piece employers should be thinking a little bit bigger is, let's go back to the old school career fair. Let's go back to in-person. A lot of employers are saying we have so many applications, it's hard to determine who is the right fit. How you determine who the right fit is by giving people a chance to pitch themselves, by giving people a chance to show up. And if you are inundated with applications, it's understandable that that can be challenging. Why not send some of your recruitment teams to major universities and colleges to have those conversations? And a lot of organizations do that, but especially in today's market, many of those organizations have pulled out of on-campus recruitment. I think that was a great time to claw back in and make meaningful connections to identify those top talent students.
Emily Durham, career coach and host of the Straight Shooter Recruiter podcast. Thank you so much for talking with me today, Emily.
Thank you for having me, and happy job hunting all.
Well, that was the big story. You can send us feedback on this episode or any other episode by emailing us at hello@thebigstorypodcast.ca or leave a voicemail at 416-935-5935. You can find us on the Seeker app or on all your favorite podcast players. Please rate, review, follow, and share. I'm Maria Kestane. Thanks for listening.